All right, day 16. Today's my first day of doing a voiceover. I had a friend's recommendation. I want to make these videos more engaging, and I try to put my thoughts usually in those text boxes, kind of like how you see now, but I realized that I just can't communicate enough information in an engaging way without it just being really boring. So hopefully this is going to work out. I'm trying something new, and I'm going to one-shot this, reaction to my video for today. So just excuse the pauses, the ums, etc. I'll find my way about this. But day 16. Yeah, and this morning I woke up with 172.8 pounds, which means I'm up 0.3 pounds yesterday. Could be water weight, could not be. I've been a little bit dehydrated recently though, but I can definitely see in the mirror that I am gaining body fat. So that's exactly what I wanted. Something I'm doing is working. I still need to, tweak the protein count and the macros like that, but overall, we're heading in a good direction. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing active rest. I'm doing swimming, and the shin splint stretch because again, my shins are destroyed from barely any running. So clearly, my legs have to go stronger. And then 2 to 3 trigger sessions. I'll explain what those are when I get there. Okay, so this morning I did some fasted swimming. I just woke up and jumped in the pool. It's really annoying doing it at home because it is flooded with bugs, especially when it rains like it is kind of now. And I get so paranoid with bugs like entering my mouth or my eyes or my ears. And I just get too distracted. So most of the time I'm like standing up, like splashing every like wasp and ladybug and every little ant that I could find. And I'm like swimming with my neck up when I'm trying to freestyle swim. So it's not really conducive, and I'm going to start swimming at my local gym from now on. But I want to say this because I haven't said this before, but for the physical screening test for the Navy SEALs, I'm supposed to do what's called a combat side stroke, not freestyle swimming, which is like the normal like this. It's called a combat side stroke, which is entirely different. But I'm not genuinely trying to join the Navy SEALs, and freestyle swimming is something that I've always wanted to do. I don't know about their difficulty in comparison, but I know that the freestyle type of swim is hard, especially for me, who struggles to do even 2 laps in a row without being absolutely winded. So while I am saying that I'm training for the Navy SEALs PST, while it's not completely to the T, I still am counting that as an exception. All right, and then this has been my lunch for a few days. I mix tuna, mayo, and olives together, and then I just slather some ghee on some toast, on 3 slices of toast, and I just eat that, and it's something that works. It's not the most delicious, but again, at this point, I'm just trying to eat anything to gain weight, and this does hit, this is high calorie, and it has protein. And then of course, just 750 milliliters of water, because if I don't force myself to drink water, I will not. All right, so trigger sessions. I got this concept from Mind Pump Media, which is by far my favorite fitness podcast on the internet. It's just 3 guys who've shared all their years of knowledge from being personal trainers, opening their own gyms, etc. And they created the concept of a trigger session. So you have your main lifting days, right? But then on your off days, right, there's 2 types of rest. There's passive rest where you just do nothing all day, and then there's active rest. Active rest could mean walking, could be swimming. During my workout routine up until October 7th, I'm doing active rest through swimming. But also there's something called a trigger session. Your body responds to what are called muscle building signals. When you do squats, when you do bench press, etc., it's sending loud muscle building signals to your body that says, hey, we need to grow stronger. What do we do in response to that? We build muscle. But then on your off days, by doing what's called a trigger session and picking 4 to 5 exercises that you do to get just a light pump in that muscle, just get a little bit blood flow in there, it continues sending that muscle building signal on your rest days. So your body's continuously telling itself to build muscle. And it's done through many ways. One of which, like, I can rationalize is that with the increased blood flow, your muscles that are broken down, that are recovering, get more nutrients, can release more waste products, and overall it just facilitates a faster build back of existing muscle and new muscle. So I've incorporated trigger sessions from now until October 7th, right, before I actually begin my previous schedule of training for the Navy SEALs. And these trigger sessions are so that while my core is still recovering from doing 300 decline sit-ups like an idiot, I can still continue building all the other parts of my body. So in this, you're going to see me doing a bunch of exercises and how they feel for me. And I wrote down notes for each one too that I wanted to talk about. So the first is the pec deck fly. And now you can see here that I don't do it in the most conventional way, right? People usually kind of sit completely against the seat rest, but there's a YouTuber named Tyler Path who likes to drop fitness tips, especially for making an exercise feel right for your body. And he said that for the pec deck, instead of sitting completely against the seat, have your butt rest on the edge of the seat and your feet extended outwards. And this, I realize, allows me to keep my shoulder blade retracted during the exercise so that I can actually squeeze my pecs and get value out of the exercise. It's such a simple tweak that completely changed the way I do pec decks. I don't just do it so because I can flex my thunder thighs, as you can see in this video, but it's a great way to feel it without impinging your shoulder, especially if you have shoulder problems like I do. So give that a try. All right, and then here too, Tyler Path gave me another tip with this one, where you're not sitting at all on the machine for a rear delt fly to hit the back deltoid, but actually you're kind of leaning against the seat, but in a completely straight line. So this is like the machine, you're leaning like this, and doing that allows you to completely just work the rear delt without any awkward position. Because whenever I try to sit against the seat and press my chest against the machine, and then I do rear delt flies, I just get like this weird loss of stability in my shoulders. And it's something I'm still figuring out, but this is a great tip, and it's definitely something you need to try if you've ever felt like this machine doesn't work for you. All right, machine pullover. Yeah, so the pullover is like a weird one. It's such a strange thing to be able to do this, but I do it because it's a compound exercise, and Arnold Schwarzenegger like swore by it, a bunch of bodybuilders swore by it. And it works your lower pec, it works your triceps, your lats, and it builds muscle really fast apparently. But for me, for some reason, I can't crack the way to do it without it feeling so awkward. Like, it's such a weird thing to be doing this for me. So that's something I'm still figuring out. I want to talk about that. I should have warmed up because that will definitely help it feel more normal for me. But I have my days where this exercise feels great, and then my days where it just feels so weird. And today was one of those weird days. All right, and the machine tricep dip. So I did a warm-up, and then I did a set with 50 pounds for 11 reps. And I found that my triceps were like pretty freaking pumped by the end of it, like really pumped. And I don't know why that's happening. It's not like I'm lifting too heavy, at least I don't think so. And it might have been because after the pullover, my triceps might have been like used more than I thought they were, but I checked it after I did the pullover and I didn't feel too much engagement in the triceps. So I wrote down 3 reasons that this could be happening. Either the pullover did hit the tricep more than I realized, which is possible. My triceps need to recover and they're just overworked in general, which I doubt is the case. I really doubt it. And Also, maybe it's just that I contract the tricep really well, which I do. I'm able to get a really good mind muscle connection with my tricep, especially today, because it's one thing to, squeeze on the concentric, when you flex the muscle, but then on the way back up today, I really controlled it with the tricep machine. You can't see it with the time-lapsed video, but I made an effort there, and it did play a difference. Okay, and then leg press. Yeah, the warm up was no way. It was so easy. Anyone can do that. And then I did another set with 60 pounds for 13 reps. And that was really good because when I was doing the warm up, while it was easy for me to do that, with my leg in that position, I did feel my lower back be a little unstable because I also have a lower back injury. But 60 pounds was nice because it's still a very light weight, so I have to go very slow during the exercise to actually feel something. But then also that allowed me to control every muscle that was engaged and allowed me to focus on my core engagement so that I didn't tweak my lower back. So you can see it's slowing down here actually, and that's when I was doing the 60 pounds. Overall, that felt great. Leg press is something I've rarely included in my fitness regimens ever, but I know it helps a lot of people, so maybe during my trigger sessions it'll do something for me. Okay, the shin splint stretch. I hate these so much. They take so much time, and no one likes stretching. Stretching is not fun for me. I do it because I have to. I never want to. This video stretched 300, it's sped up by 300% on top of being a time lapse. And look at how fast everyone else is moving compared to me. And I'm just sitting there just stretching that one leg. So in these, I'm going to include the names of these stretches. There's 3 of them I do. So I'll do that in the next video. But here basically what's happening is that back leg, because it's being straightened out and I'm pressing my chest against the wall, it's creating the stretch in the entire front of my shin. But today was really weird because for the first time, I felt that stretch really good in my left shin, but not my right shin. So at first I tried just closing my eyes and breathing into the muscle and just trying to feel the stretch, but that didn't work. So then I tried copying the exact foot position of my left foot, and then that kind of worked. But then by the third set, I felt that the muscles running along the right side of my thigh were taking over. And that was a really new feeling. That's something that I think I can only figure out as I experience it more. But today, overall, this stretch wasn't as great as I would love it to be. Again, I hate stretching, but I want it to be painful because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to get something out of it. And obviously not painful, but I do need to feel it working. All right, this is the second one. This is a hamstring stretch. So apparently the hamstring is very involved with the shins, which I'm just gonna take at face value because one day I hope to understand it, but right now I'm not trying to figure out every single muscle recruitment pattern that the body uses, like the hamstrings and the shins when running, etc. But I read online that it helps, and so this is me placing my leg against the wall, which creates a stretch in my hamstrings. And then to just accentuate that stretch, I'll put my other leg over it, as you can see here, and then I'll also lift my neck up, and that creates more of a stretch that, at least in my opinion, it feels that way to me. And then I just ride out the 1 minute, and I just look around like a deer in headlights, just trying to get through that horrible, horrible sensation. And then stretch 3 is just stretching out the front of my ankles. So this is in contrast to usually when I use the chair, because there's no chair in the outdoor gym today. So instead I'm just kneeling and I'm using my feet. But I found that by doing that, I felt unstable, right? Because I'm only resting on my knees. And then I'm also trying to create that stretch in my ankle, and I'm flexing the ankle. So that combination of balancing while also stretching made me squeeze my lower back more than I wanted to, and I was afraid of tweaking it. So in this first set I continued, but in the second set I actually kneel forward, and that was my way of kind of correcting that. Overall, this is a pretty good stretch. I really need these because for some reason, I think it's because I'm a serial pacer and I just walk so much during the day unnecessarily that I think that part of my ankle, that front part, has just become really tight, and it 100% has to affect the way I run. So I'm only a few days into doing these, but oh my God, I can't wait for the dividends that this one is going to pay off. All right, trigger session 2. Now, technically, the trigger sessions, you want to do 2 to 3 during the day, and you want it to be spread out during the day, right? Because you want to continuously, throughout the day, have your body resend that muscle building signal, as I understand it from the Mind Pump Media guys. But because I had such a long day with hospice and stuff, and I got home late after like driving for like 2 to 3 hours, I just did the trigger session, the first one, then I did my stretch, and then I just jumped into trigger session 2. So this case, and here I did the incline bench, really straightforward. I was listening to my body, felt good. It's really that simple. I'm trying to incorporate incline bench more because with the Navy SEALs PST, I'm doing so many push-ups that my lower pec is going to be way more developed than my upper pec. So I just want to balance it out. And I'm going to do that with the incline bench trigger sessions. So that one felt really good. And then next, so here I was trying something new. So you'll see here, I jump up, I do a chin up, pull up, but then I descend really slowly. And that's because according to guys like, Mike Menser and just every fitness person in general, there's static holds that do a lot of work, a lot of good things for your muscles. Static meaning that you just hold it in a certain position. And then also time under tension during the stretch portion of the muscle. Also, the stretch portion of the exercise also builds muscle. So I was just trying how it would feel with pull-ups. It felt pretty good, honestly. I didn't feel that the muscle was super pumped, but I definitely felt it being engaged. So that was an interesting thing. I was just experimenting, and I'm going to continue experimenting with that just to see how that plays out. Because I think it might translate to strength gains on top of just, recovering and the natural strength that comes with that. And then afterwards, I did some assisted pull-ups with like 80 pounds on the machine for 12 reps. And I did those nice and slow because 80 pounds was really light. So I had to really focus on my lats. And my biceps just got a crazy pump out of, just holding it that entire time. And it's kind of too much of a pump with trigger sessions. You don't want to get a huge pump because otherwise you're just going to damage the muscle more than help it heal. But that's okay. I'm learning. And then here I did an assisted chest dip with the same weight. I just jumped right into it. Now the tricep dips, right? The difference between the chest dip and the tricep dip on this machine is that if you notice those bars, like if you ever check out the machine itself, it can flip outwards and inwards. Inwards lets you hit the tricep. Outwards creates, because it's more wide, it creates more of a stretch in your chest, and it works your pecs, especially your lower pec. In addition to, your triceps a little bit and your anterior delt as well. It's a compound movement. But I don't know why. The chest dip has just never really felt right with my muscles. I feel my shoulder impinge a little bit. I don't think I'm leaning forward enough in the right way. Like you can see here, my neck is bent straight down, but my body's kind of vertical. It only bends at the top when I should be leaning forward more to create more of a stretch. There's a lot I need to learn with this machine and this exercise, but I'm not going to give up because I used to think the tricep dip on this machine didn't work with my body in its natural proportions. That's absolutely not true. I figured it out. I said the same thing with deadlifting as well. I said the same thing with pull-ups. With exercise, there's always a way around something. It's on you to figure it out. And again, that's part of the fun of it. Okay, and then seated hamstring curls. I haven't done this machine in so long. So I just stuck to 50 pounds and I got a really nice stretch out of this one. Real simple exercise, straightforward, felt good. And then the ab machine. So you can see here, super quick, only 7 reps of 30 pounds. But I made it a point to hit this machine today because again, my core is still blasted from when I did the 300 decline sit-ups. And so I wanted to get a pump in order to help the muscle build back, to heal faster. But also, I could have done that with a really low weight and a higher rep count. But today I did a really low rep count because I think a huge thing that people miss when they're working out is that, yeah, your muscle, right, is being worked, right? And so your muscle's going to take damage, your muscle's going to get weak before it builds back and becomes stronger. But what's actually contracting the muscle and stretching the muscle and allowing you to use it is your nervous system. And so there's something called CNS fatigue, where you work your nervous system so much that you end up overtraining, you burn out, you don't get the gains you want, you can't put the force and the exertion that you want, and overall you don't feel good after your lifts. You just feel tired, exhausted, you might get sick faster, etc. I definitely taxed the heck out of my central nervous system when I did those decline sit-ups. So I wanted to hit low reps but still get a pump. And I'm hoping that by the end of this week, my central nervous system will kind of recover to a point where I can resume past this, resume my physical screening test training. All right, seated calf raises. This one wasn't the smartest move. So with my shin splints, I've read that strengthening your calves will translate to less frequent shin splints. Sure, that makes sense. A stronger body means you're less prone to injury given that you stretch, etc. But the seated calf raise especially, you see that little bend in my ankle. And when I was doing this with 25 pounds, I could feel a similar sensation to when I'm at the beginning of a run. Like at the beginning of a run, I start to feel my shins start to tweak a little bit, and I felt that here. So that was really annoying to find out that the seated calf raise may not be the best for me right now, even though all I'm trying to do is just fix these shin splints so I can run like a normal human being. But my body is what it is, so I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to keep, figuring out ways around it. And then after, so people don't do tibia raises enough. If you're going to work your body in like one way, right? Like just flex your calf right now. If you're sitting down or whatever, just do a calf raise, and you can feel like your heel moving away from like your feet, I guess. But what's the opposite of that? Bringing your toes to like your shin and your heel. That's called a tibia raise. Big calves look good, right? Everyone loves a big calf. Guys, that's like probably what top three things that guys in the gym would want to improve on. But when you don't do tibia raises, you're going to develop a severe muscle imbalance that will translate to more shin splints. It will translate to ankle instability and leg instability. It could result in weird and random pains in your leg because, oftentimes when one muscle is tweaked, like in some random other part your muscle might be tweaked. It's a very chain reaction kind of thing. So take preventative care, and if you're going to do a set of like calf raises, always do the tibia raises after. I don't do tibia raises with 25, like I don't match the weight. So if I do seated calf raises with 25 pounds, I'm not going to do 25 pounds on the tibia raise. I usually just go body weight, and I just do it a bunch of times. So in this case, I did 24, and I felt a nice pump. I do this as a preventative measure, and I'm confident that this will help me make my shin stronger so that they don't splint again. Okay, physique post-workout. Nothing crazy. I'm definitely noticing a little bit more body fat. You can see it in my stomach there. I love it. I don't want to get fat, but I want to gain weight. Over the summer, I ran MAPS Anabolic from the Mind Pump Media guys, and they preach full body workouts. So I was only doing 2 full body workouts a week. Now my intensity is high, right? So that's fine. But because I wasn't eating enough over the summer, my body recomped the fat, the low-key like little fat that I had, and turned into muscle. But then after that, even with just 2 workouts a week, I was overtraining. I was sore all the time. I was tired. I was burning out. So don't count out the importance of nutrition. Shaquille O'Neal said that with working out and exercising and athleticism, whatever, 80% of it is nutrition, 20% of it is working out. It's easy to be a caveman and just like pump iron all day, but if you're not eating right, it's not going to translate to anything. And in reality, it's probably going to hurt your gains. So that's something I've been thinking about, and I've always struggled with eating. So I'm very proud to see that, well, pop belly popping out. That's what I want. And then you can still see it here too. Like I still got a little ab shape going on. You know, I'm definitely building muscle underneath the fat. So one day when I cut, I'm going to be in a good place. But, you know, this is just what it takes in the meanwhile. All right, so dinner. So by this point in the day, I realized I didn't eat too much and I'm kind of low on my protein count. So what I did is I put a cup of peanuts in a bowl, which is around 37 grams of protein. Fantastic. I put half a red onion, I put 3 green chilies, and I put lemon juice. And I mixed that, and I ate that. And it's probably the most Indian uncle thing I could have done. But peanuts apparently have an extremely high absorption rate in the body. Just like whey protein, where virtually all of it is absorbable. Apparently with peanut protein, it is absorbable too. That's something I've been keeping a very close track of because I was devastated when I learned that the bread I was eating, which has 5 grams of protein per slice, that protein in the bread, probably mostly from gluten, doesn't get absorbed by my body. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention now to what I'm eating and how fast it can be absorbed. This is a dinner that works. It tastes good. But holy cow, your breath is going to reek after. So please brush your teeth and floss. I also made some quinoa that I was expecting to have on the side. I actually still have it here. It's quinoa, dal, and carrot curry. But I did not have it in me to eat that with the peanuts because peanuts are so freaking high in calories. So I'm going to pound this after I'm done with this video. Yeah. And I'm watching you grow. So day 16, that is my recap. It's my first time doing this video thing. I like it, honestly. It lets me get out so much more information. The only caveat is that I make the videos much longer and you also have to hear my voice for a long time, but deal with it. And I'll work on making it more interesting in the future. I did 2 trigger sessions. I did the 20 minutes of swimming and I did my shin splint stretch. Even if these are kind of my like recovery days, so like I'm still trying to like, you know, build some muscle with the trigger session and I'm doing the shin splint stretch to be able to run and I'm doing only a little bit of swimming every day to like build up my endurance. It is still very taxing on my body and I'm still tired. And it's for a number of reasons, you know. Swimming, I've noticed, really, really drains my energy. All my friends who are swimmers always say that you got to be really careful when you stop swimming because when you swim, you get so hungry that your metabolism shoots up, so you're just eating all the time. But then when you stop, you're still eating all the time, so you can pack on the weight. I definitely understand what they mean now by how you want to eat more when you're swimming. So I'm going to continue to try and eat more to hopefully have energy and not just get exhausted and be a bum all day. But that's like part of this toll, you know, it's with the swimming and then also just planning the trigger sessions and then also dedicating time to the stretch and then also, you know, recording all of it and then making these videos at the end of the day. I find myself sleeping at 2 a.m. now and then having to wake up at around 9 a.m. for hospice. So that's definitely on me. I'm not putting any excuses out there. I just need to plan my stuff better. But I'm still loving the grind. I'm loving making these YouTube videos, um, and I'm loving giving this commentary. Hopefully, I'm sharing some new information out there, and also like this is also helping me learn so much about myself. I mean, it's one thing to mentally take note while you're like lifting, like, oh, my body feels this way, or like, oh, I tried something new this day. But then it's another thing to also, again, at the end of the day before I sleep, reanalyze all this information, find out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm not doing, and then just slowly craft that perfect one workout regimen for this Navy SEALs challenge, because I will complete it one day. But then two, also, it helps me figure out what is sustainable for my body. Because again, in my other videos, I've preached this constantly. Exercise only works for you when you make it work for you. It's a relationship that you develop with your body and with weights. My whole life, I wanted to start working out. I used to be very insecure about my body. I used to think I was super fat. And I worked out for the sole purpose of like developing abs. From when I was in third grade to maybe around seventh, eighth grade. And it just wasn't sustainable for me because I wasn't doing it for personally the right reasons. Other people do train for like abs and aesthetics, and it works out for them, and I love it. I love that for them. But for me, I've realized that working out only works for me, like is only sustainable for me because I do it to feel a certain way after. I do it to feel motivated, to make me feel like I didn't waste my day, to give me energy, to make me feel stronger and more stable, to push myself in a controlled environment and directly harvest the fruits of my effort. Anyways, I'm gonna go on a tangent here. That's day 16. We'll see how day 17 is. It's 2 a.m. I'm thinking I'm gonna wake up at around. I want to get my sleep in, but at the same time, it would suck to like start my day at like 12 o'clock because I sleep like no one's business. I get like 10 hours in every day. To start my day at 12 o'clock, do all of this stuff, I might find myself at 2 a.m., finishing my video for tomorrow. So I might wake up and just like deal with it. We'll see. You'll find out tomorrow. Take care.